We welcome all of you. We welcome our YouTube followers with us tonight. Talked about a bit about our work session. We held a 1 hour work session before this meeting. That work session could have easily been a 4 or 5 hour work session, as I said before, because we were handed a document, a recommendation from the Planning Commission, and they had many discussions about it, well thought out. However, as the council got a hold of it, there was probably 6 different opinions on that. And so we didn't get very far on it. But we spent the full hour on some discussions, and we realized that we have a lot of differing views and we have a lot of work to do on this before we pass this. This is not on the agenda tonight to pass or for any action, but it kind of was scheduled for very soon. So it probably won't be very soon when we decide to take action on this item. But just to tell you a little bit, and you've heard this, but we've talked to people, and some cities have just said they got so tired of talking about it, they just passed it just to pass it. And we're not going to do that. We're unique here in Washington Terrace, and we're not going to do what Ogden does. We're not going to do what Clearfield does. We're not going to do, we have our own unique circumstances, and we all know that. And all the council knows that. So we're going to do it. We're going to do it right. And when we all decide and when we can all come to terms and make it fit or make it not fit, I don't know. We don't know right now, but it's going to take a lot of work and it's going to take a lot more time. But you're here tonight, and if you are here on that chicken item, we would, we'd love to hear from you. We're going to give you 3 minutes during your citizen comment period, but keep your comments short when we get there, and maybe you can help us out. Maybe you have some ideas, but 3 minutes isn't a lot of time. But I know some of you have called us, and that's what we'd like. If you want to talk further, give us a call. Our numbers are posted, and we'd like to hear from you. Any people on YouTube, same thing. Give us a call if you have any suggestions. Help us out. Okay, let's go on. Let's go to item number 2 is our roll call. Amy? Here?
Shanson?
Here.
Councilmember Zishan?
Here.
Councilmember Parkinson?
Here.
Councilmember West?
Here.
Councilmember Thomas?
Here. Okay, thank you, Amy. Appreciate every council member being present tonight. We'll go on to our Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll all rise and repeat the pledge with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for that Pledge of Allegiance. It's nice to hear a bunch of Pledge of Allegiance behind us, isn't it? Except just the 5 or 6 of us. So thank you very much. Again, we welcome you all. Thanks for taking your Tuesday out and spending some time with us. Let's move on to consent items. You've had a chance to look at your agenda, had a chance to look at your council meeting minutes from past. Any changes on the agenda? Okay. If we have no changes to any of those items, we'll approve those items 5.1 by general consent. Thank you, council. Appreciate that. Item number 6 is our citizen comment period. I'm just going to read this as an opportunity to address the council regarding your concerns on ideas that are not part of the agenda, part of a public hearing. So please limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes. Okay, so we're going to open that up right now. And as I say, just be courteous, be kind. If you have some suggestions, give us some suggestions. But I feel like this is a ways out. So we're going to have time to ponder this. But go ahead. Anybody? Amy? I know we have Amy here every time with us, so we know that what she will say. So thank you, Amy.
Community United Methodist Church. Just want to let y'all know, and the audience as well, that we just brought in our October newsletter. There's some copies on the table. 2 items I want to mention. October 25, which is a Friday, It'll be a community event for the children and their parents as well to bring them. We call it Falloween, and it's a time to gather in our gym. We have games and crafts and cakewalks and some dinner, and hope everything's free. And so we would encourage everybody to attend or bring your kids or grandkids. That's a Friday night, the 25th. I also just wanted to mention on November 1 and 2 is our Fall Boutique, which a lot of the community may be familiar with. I wanted to also mention, we just finished our community rummage sale, earned about $1,600 to go into our school supply fund for next year, which will be really helpful. But wanted to mention the boutique for sure, because I will not be here at the next council meeting to bring that up, and I won't be here until that event has passed, the boutique. I'm heading to Delaware for about 3 weeks this time, so. Anyway, wanted to just mention that, and I've got the newsletters over on the tables.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy. Appreciate all the work you do for our community. Appreciate that very much. All right. Anybody else? If you come up, just at least give your name, please. You don't need to give your address and everything like that, but for the minutes, we at least need your name.
Okay,
Okay.
my name is Nedra Seal, and I just wanted to take a minute or two about the chicken coalition type of thing. I ran the petition around, it's been 2 years ago, I think in September, and I did cross sections of the Terrace, and it was very clear to me that almost every place that I went was in opposition of that. And I turned that in and was wondering what happened to that. I know that they wanted to validate the names with the addresses that they signed and that, and I just feel like that needs to be made public, you know? And I also see that, like, the letters that have been written to the council members or the city, whatever, those that have come in, as well as the petition, those are our voices. Mary, you mentioned the phone numbers. I couldn't find phone numbers to call. As I was calling around, I found one, but I couldn't find the others. I could see their email thing, but you know what? Even phone calls or email would be a record of it, but a phone call, you don't have a record of what's being said. So, you know, that you can voice your opinion, okay, but there's not a record. I'm just wondering here tonight, how many are in opposition of chickens being in the terrace? Raise your hand. And that kind of goes true with what I found with the petition. Many more people were in opposition to that. It's a health kind of thing. And so I would just make a plea to the city council to be responsible and think of the health needs and things of the community and all those involved. And I know there's a lot of hot thoughts about the whole thing, but you guys can do the right thing. We're counting on you too. So thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you, Nedra.
How you doing, Council? I'm Braden Shoup. Been a resident for about 26 years. I'm here against the chickens. I was here 2 years ago. Chickens bring, you know, you spread feed for chickens, correct? And right now, the Terrace has a huge problem with raccoons. I have a lot of raccoons in my yard. We're always trying to eliminate and trap them, eliminate them, and constantly finding raccoon feces all over my yard. And right now, our neighborhood is experiencing a huge blow up with voles, which we've been fighting all of our neighbors for at least a year. And it's not where we just see the tracks anymore. They're present, they're out in the yard. And my concern is with chickens, it's gonna bring more raccoons, more varmints. And so, and I know one of the arguments last time was we want to have chickens so we can save money with the eggs, but I think it was proven last time through the state and through USU extension that it's not economical. You know, you get 2 dozen eggs at Costco right now, even the organic ones, the better ones for under $5. And then second, my wife helps out a lady, works for a lady over across the highway from the driver's license division. And she puts out bird seed and she's overrun with rats. And I go over and try and help put out 5 different strands of rat food. And why I'm doing it, I mean, I've seen 5 different rats in different locations at the same time. And they go through right now, probably 10 to 20 pieces of poison a day. And this is just off of the seed, the almost similar seed that the chicken feed is, you know, and even now that she's eliminated the seed, the rats are embedded. They're still eating the poison. They're dying off. Find them in the yard, and there's still dozens of rats. I talked to a pest company. They said if you have 1 rat, you have 40 rats. You know, and right now the Terrace, I think, as we all know, there is a raccoon problem. There's been a raccoon problem for a long time. Like when the Hines lived in the neighborhood, you know, Mr. Hines told me that he had actually euthanized, I think it was 39 raccoons in a number of years, of course. Yeah,
Is
and now
that legal?
yeah, actually it is. I called the Division of Wildlife and they said skunks and raccoons, they won't come out. They
Okay,
actually encourage you, they consider them a public nuisance. And they said to destroy them, trap them and destroy them was actually what they told me on the phone. But right now, I don't know anybody that is feeding the rodents. And right now, they've kind of overtaken our neighborhood, which, I mean, you guys knew that, right? Yeah, so, but I mean, you know, I'm fighting them on 3 different locations of my yard, which I share boundaries with other people in here. And this has been an ongoing, I got pictures I could send to you. My 3 minutes is up.
Yep.
So my thing is there's really no benefit of having the chickens other than, you know, cute little pets that just bring too many problems to the Terrace. So, okay.
thank you, Braden.
My name is Bob Warlemont. I've been a member of the Terrace residential community for 26 years. I live down the street from Braden. If I'm incorrect, let me know. I think Washington Terrace is at least 90% a residential community. It's not a farm community. A chicken is a farm animal. A goat and a horse and a cow is a farm animal. They bring disease. I don't think Washington Terrace has the budget to add any more code ordinances, things they can enforce, just like they don't enforce parking. They don't enforce lawn care. I take care of my yard. 90% of the people take care of their yard. 5600 is a storage road for construction vehicles. Has been for 2 years. Connects used it for theirs, and there's currently another contractor using it. I don't think it should be allowed to park there. I don't think that we have the resources in the city, or I would bet money that the sheriff doesn't want to go be a chicken monitor. Chickens are not healthy. They carry disease. They bring rodents. Maybe 10% of the residents of the area would have a chicken. Maybe not even that high. I don't have anything to back that up, but I feel comfortable in saying that. And I think 90% do not want them. My taxes are already too high. You can't enforce the code you got. You're gonna add one that's impossible. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Val Shoup, I live at 98 East, 5600 South in Washington Terrace. I'm not gonna go into the reasons why I don't want chickens because I've sent all of you my epitaph on that and also the planning commission. I can't even believe we're in another meeting on this. We've had 2 councils have said no chickens. And it sounds like we're gonna be back in here again after this meeting to do it again. And the reason that people don't come to these meetings, especially those who don't want the chickens, is because they're tired of butting their head against the wall. And it seems that that's all we do is listen till we gotta have chickens. You seriously need to look at, and I agree, I have holes in my yard. We're bringing in a lot of varmints into this city. And I just don't get raccoons. I get fox, I get coyotes, and they like chickens. Okay, so I'm just telling you, you need to be careful what you do here, and especially when it comes to those structures that you're gonna have, chickens in, and then they don't want the chickens anymore, and now you're gonna have dilapidated chicken coops. Who's gonna take care of those and who's gonna get rid of them? So having said that, I'm opposed to the chickens. I just think this is not a community that's conducive to chickens. Our yard sizes aren't conducive to chickens. And it would really upset me if I went on my balcony and had to listen to a chicken and smell a chicken every day. That's just not right. So, thank you.
Thank you, Val. Anybody else?
My name's Chuck Jensen. I live at 97 East 5600 South. My next door neighbor, in 1 month period, live trapped 22 raccoons. So that's the kind of problem we're dealing with here. Those things would be all over chickens. When my wife and I built a new home in 2000, I'd lived in the Terrace since 1977. And when we built a new house in 2000, one of the biggest factors was it was a city community, not a rural farm community. And I don't think we want any farm animals. Cats and dogs, I'm not a particular fan of, but they're considered a domesticated animal and part of all residences that want them. But to go beyond that, to get into chickens, horses, cattle, goats, pigs, I just think, I don't think you ought to discuss what kind of an ordinance to have. It ought to have the same ordinance you already had, only instead of saying, unless we get enough complaints about a particular chicken person, we're not going to enforce the ordinance that's on the books. That's baloney. When you pass an ordinance and put it on the books, you ought to enforce it. And they said they were giving the chicken people 30 days to get rid of the ones they had, and nothing happened. So I think it's important that the council and the city have the guts to back up when they make a decision, not just say, well, you can just kind of keep the ones you've got unless too many people complain about it. There's a million reasons why they're not a good thing, and a couple of reasons why some people want them. And there's lots of places in Weber County where they could live and have all the chickens they want. Thanks.
Thank you, Chuck. Anybody else this evening? All right. We've heard a lot. Oh. Got one more.
Hello, council. I'm Joseph Hartley. My wife is really pro chicken. I really don't care either way. But I'm happy to have chickens if we're allowed to have them. The thing is, with a lot of this, there's a lot of misinformation. And it's frustrating because chickens kill voles. They kill mice. They'll kill rats. You can literally search the internet and find examples of this. You don't spread chicken feed around. You put it in a feeder. Like, it's basic common sense. I don't understand why there's so much misinformation on this subject. Find it aggravating. That's all.
Thank you, Joseph. Anybody else? All right. Again, thank you all for joining us tonight. And we've got things on the agenda tonight. You're welcome to stay and watch the proceedings. So thank you. Let's move on. Item number 7, new business. Item number 7.1, discussion/direction. Discussion and direction on ordinance 24-07, urban chickens, a continuation of the work session on the proposed ordinance to allow for urban chickens. The ordinance will be brought back later to a later council meeting for final consideration. So, at this time, council, what are your suggestions? Do we want to continue the, discussion we had? Or do we want to, maybe have assignments to research what we talked about in the work session?
I think,
Let me know.
sorry, did I cut you off?
No, go ahead.
Okay, no, I think we were talking about the lot sizes and, with the given, criteria, whether to limit that more or not, because, you know, what we said, 5 feet from the property line and 25 feet, like if that even plausible. So that's something before just willy-nilly voting on something or passing an ordinance, I think we ought to actually do the math and look into it if that's even feasible.
Anybody else?
I
Michael?
think where it's so far out at this point, it should be involved in the survey that's gonna be going out. That way we get an unbiased, because we get a lot of emails, phone calls, everything like that, get it on the survey. And that way we can also get an idea of what all of the citizens want instead of all the ones that are either contacting us or showing up to the meetings.
I mean, I agree with you. I think we did one a while ago, didn't we?
That was a Facebook one.
Facebook one?
That wasn't done by the city, it was done by other
If,
people.
like, we start getting, you know, a lot of phone calls and a lot of emails and people start showing up, that, hey, you know what would be a great idea? We should open a meth store right next to the elementary school. And if we send a survey and 95% people votes for it, should we do that? Should we open a meth store, allow a meth store next to the elementary school?
That's a whole different story.
I know, right? So there's
makes
both
no
sides of the
sense.
story of
Okay,
surveys, so.
okay.
So Mayor, with regards to the ordinances that we are reviewing, I think there's enough that we have identified that needs to be revisited, that we're not in a position where we could vote one way or another. So I would move that we table this discussion for a later date.
I second.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff. We have a motion, a second to table this discussion to a later date. Any discussion, council?
I think it's wise. I think there's more to discuss.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, I think we need to have more work sessions, not just here in council meeting, but more work sessions discussing the matter.
Okay. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we will table the ordinance 24-7 and we will table any further discussion tonight and we'll have some discussion. So thank you for your input. Let's move to item 7.2, motion/ordinance 24-08. Motion to approve ordinance adopting rezoning of 5580 South Adams Avenue from O1 open space to C1 commercial property. We have with us Tyler Seaman, our man of many hats. So welcome, Tyler.
Thank you. Thank you, Council and Mayor. This is a proposed zoning change for the property on 5600 South and Adams Avenue. There should have been an exhibit in your packet with the parcel specific to it. It's kind of an L shape. It surrounds the library. The city has owned this property and it was treated as the O is for open space. So it was a park per se without any amenities in it. So what it's come down to is that it was a park that was used that we just maintained and took care of the site. The city council with direction, we've been researching this property for a while now. We've had it up for sale for about 2.5 years. We have an applicant that has proposed a preliminary plan to us. And one of the things that needs to happen on that site is that it needs to be rezoned. to a commercial zone. The surrounding properties there are medical professional office, which falls more in line with the C1. That's the distinction between the C1 and the C2. And so the intent there would be to have kind of a professional office type, medical, dental, something like that at that area. City Planning Commission gave a unanimous. There was only opposition from comments that came from the public was that the city's exhibit was not clear on what the library's actual footprint looks like on the map. That was clarified as coming from me saying that we didn't need to have the library is not part of this at all, and so we weren't. This exhibit is a general exhibit showing the parcel of where it is, and to help you to understand where the property is. Obviously, in the planning and zoning side of things, we will make sure that whatever goes in that property will meet the zoning requirements and then also meet fire code for distance away from the property of the library. So no further comments.
Okay, thank you, Tyler. Appreciate that. Long time coming on this property, so we appreciate Tyler and his work on this. We appreciate Planning Commission for their work on this and their recommendations. Tom, comments?
Cheryl?
Question.
Cheryl?
And Justin may have this. You said to zone it as a C1 because that would be medical type things. If some of the businesses that go into that are not medical, does it have to be rezoned or is that okay?
No, it would be, it still allows, if you're kind of thinking in like if maybe a food or something like that, that would be allowed there. That's an allowed.
So what
a
is the
permitted
difference?
use.
Help me out. What's the difference in
The-
the C1 versus C2?
The biggest difference is this, a C2 is more in line with like it's kind of like the actual intent of it is neighborhood. So it fits kind of into a more of a neighborhood feel. And an example of our C2 area is over here on 4400 where the Terrace Playhouse is. That's a C2 zone and it's more in line with like what you'd want to have around houses.
Mm.
So kind of.
Okay.
It's kind of an interesting, the reason why I really ultimately went to the C1 was because everything surrounding it is C1, except for behind it, which is Washington Terrace Public Works and South Ogden Public Works. So, and then a school.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Right. Any other questions, Tyler? No. Okay, Tom? comment?
The intent of this property, as described by the developer, is for office space and a tenant that they have actively online with a dental facility, taking up a pretty nice chunk of it. It's about a 14,000 square foot, yes. 14,000, about 14,000, almost 15,000 square foot office building that will be going in. And it falls in line nicely with what our goals are and our intent has been for that property. We've had a lot of different people reach out to us for various projects that we did not bring to you for consideration because they just didn't fit into the scope of what aligns with the community, with our city, and with an entryway business. It's a gateway business. It's part of all of those businesses coming up on Adams Avenue. And so we're excited to get this in front of you to allow for that zoning and for us to talk with the developer and let them know that the zoning has been, approved for their project.
Okay, great. Thank you, Tom. Yes, I believe it's a great deal for us. So thank you. Any questions? Council would entertain a motion.
I'll make a
Motion
motion. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You got it.
I move that we approve ordinance 2408
adopting the rezoning of 5580 South Adams from O1 to C1 commercial property.
Okay,
I'll second.
we have a motion, a second. Thank you for those, for that order, or that motion. Any further discussion? Amy, that'll be a roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Let's proceed, Tom.
Okay.
Get on it.
We are and shall.
We are, you are already on it. Okay, great. Move to item number 8, council communication with staff.
I don't know.
Who's turn? Jill?
Okay.
We'll go with you first. Thank you.
Okay, I just would like to thank our Public Works Department for keeping on and getting the lights on Victory Way here, by Washington Terrace Elementary fixed and back up. The crosswalk lights that have been knocked down, they're back up and working beautifully. And I also would just like to publicly thank all of the citizens who were affected by our 300 West reconstruction. It looks beautiful. I appreciate the citizens living on that and the other ones who had an increased amount of traffic, both in Washington Terrace and in Riverdale. I appreciate everyone working smoothly through that process, and I just want to thank them for that.
Thank you. I second that.
Yeah, and I actually kind of echo that sentiment. To 300 West looks good.
Yeah.
I like the xeriscape they've done along there with the
Yeah,
rock,
yeah.
rather than replace the grass that was in there. That was all good. Looks like a good project and finished on time.
Yeah, yeah,
I like
yeah,
that.
a few days early.
It was, unfortunately, we ran out of UV to be able to do the chip seal. So there's one more step next summer that we'll be doing chip seal on that. It won't kill the road for too many hours, but it will be a few hours while we chip seal and paint. So unfortunately, contractors got to come back and wrap that up. We just ran out of daylight.
Yeah, we can live with that. Got it open. Z?
I don't know if you guys remember, I think we all got an email about the water billing. Yes. I don't necessarily agree with the whole premise, but one thing actually, I believe for single housing, we have 4,000 gallons for what we pay, 82 something. And once someone goes over that, we charge for the next 1,000 gallons. So actually, I thought about it way earlier, then I forgot to bring it up. I know it's billing and there's a lot of complication in there. But the point they're making is actually valid, is that even if they do say 4,100, we're charging them for 5,000. So I don't know how complicated the billing process is, but is it feasible or possible to break it down, I don't know, every 200 or 250 gallons and not charge them for the whole $1,000? I mean, 1,000 gallons?
Yeah, Heidi and I actually talked about that very thing now that we've got the system in place that we have that can help us with that. Well, let me circle back around with her again and have clarity on what the possibilities are of that and if that seems to land well. Would that be okay if I circle back?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it wasn't like on the spot, like, but I thought that was actually a really solid idea. Like, if we're capable and if it's feasible, that would actually help out a lot of people. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, I'd be happy to check into that. I know I had a conversation with her and I don't want to misquote live and in person.
All right.
So,
Thank you.
Hey, Carol?
Similar to what Jill was talking about, the 300 West, I've had numerous people that have been grateful to have that back open again, and comments of the fact that, yes, there was that uneasy time. It affected the citizens and businesses, especially there, but that they are grateful that they were considered and informed and that they were able to get that back open. So good work.
can I jump in with a question here? Jake and I have been talking, in one of my former lives, we used to do projects and pies. And we would invite people out for a little community meeting like we did when we opened up that project. But to invite those who
essentially we invited to the beginning of the project. At the end of the project, we have actually the project and pie conversation. Sit down, have a little dessert together, talk about how the project went and get some feedback to understand a little bit better about how we did and how we could, what went right, and how we can improve. How do you guys feel about introducing that, particularly for that project right now? Do you guys think is that a bad idea?
I think that'd be valuable.
I think that's a great idea. If,
Yeah, like at the senior center where we did it before.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that would be a great community event.
I
Okay,
mean, we only had 15 people there at the opening, which I was a little disappointed at, but, I mean, if we only have 15 people, we have a lot more pie for us, so.
But,
Right.
If you say there's,
Yeah, I
there'll
think-
be a lot more than 15 people.
and announce it that they have an opportunity to come and provide feedback on.
yes,
That might be,
that's the
Might be kinda
intent,
neat.
kind of a full circle. That's a big impactful project.
yeah,
And kind of like to make that part of, so Jake and I were heading that direction.
I like the idea.
But kind of wanted your feedback as well.
Would encourage that.
Yeah,
We'll
continue
we'll
heading that way.
We'll keep moving that direction. Thank you.
okay. Like that. Gotcha. Jeff?
I don't have anything else than.
Okay, Michael?
I got a lot of thank yous about 300 being open. I also have gotten a lot of phone calls asking where we're at with everything that's going on with 5700. Because I've had complaints that just west of Bonneville, there's some people that are doing the same type of thing. And also in the northwest corner of having trailers sitting parked on the road without a vehicle even attached to it. And so where are we at on coming up with an ordinance for that? So that our roads are safer, especially that one that's just to the west of Bonneville. It's impacting some of the students. There's some students that have actually told me they don't feel comfortable driving there already as it is, just because they don't want to get in a wreck.
Okay.
And now their road has become narrower because of these trailers that are there pretty much 24/7.
Okay. Well, let me check in on that. We were actually looking at working with Lieutenant Kelly and Tyler on how we could rewrite the ordinance. I talked to also Chris Allred, our prosecutor, to find the right way to draft an ordinance that allows for someone to come in and bring their fifth wheel in front of their house to load it to go on, or any trailer, to load it to go on an activity versus someone who's storing trailers on the road for their commercial use. And how do you identify that so that we are appropriately administering the law and can enforce it? So we're working on a couple of details that way to try to make sure that we've got that language. There is absolutely language right now for unattended trailers that are just left and for multiple days. Our sheriff can help us out with those for sure. So we already have a good ordinance for that clearly defined.
Sure.
I would caution you to not just say commercial vehicles, because you also have recreational trailers that hold buggies, or, they're doing buggies and things like that
Yeah.
could be
Yeah.
there as well. So just I would not just limit it to commercial.
Exactly. What the challenge is that we do have specific ordinance for how long a trailer can be parked on the road. And the loophole that we have on 5700 is they move them each day and then park them the rest of the night. So the letter of the law, they're following that. But the intent is we don't want trailers on the roads all the time because it is a nuisance in many ways. And so we're trying to find out the best way to enforce that. So I know it's a nuisance, I know it's a hassle, but those snowmobile trailers, the rest of, all of them, regardless, they should not be on the road per the ordinance. So we'll redouble our efforts on that. And that's when we're marching, and particularly we'll work with Lieutenant Kelly and his team and let them know, because what happens is they'll mark it they moved the trailer 6 inches, they followed the law. That's a problem. Because it didn't change the very nature of the problem.
It's been moved, yeah.
Because it moved. So is it silliness? Yeah. It's unfortunate. Do you have a question for me, Jill?
I was just, as we were talking, I realized I've got like a semi trailer or semi truck that parks on the road near me, when he's not out hauling loads. And I wondered, is that addressed in the ordinance as well?
Yeah, that should
I-
actually, it's completely,
I felt like it was a
Not-
no, but I wanted to make sure that was being addressed if it
Yeah.
wasn't.
that's for sure not allowed.
Okay.
And what's helpful is when we have situations, sometimes, I mean, on patrol, we may not see it. But if we call non-emergency dispatch, let them know that we have this situation. They
Okay.
can go over to sheriff and their team, and they can follow up with it. And
Non-emergency, or would you like us to use the
app
app
or not,
or
but
the
website.
non-emergency website code enforcement thing?
Do you have a preference on that?
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Because that would go in, code enforcement would be for weeds and things.
Right, okay.
Streets, vehicular, those things are more sheriff, and it should
Okay.
go through dispatch
Okay.
so that it gets routed correctly.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then I got a couple calls from, I'm assuming it's tied to the same thing, but upset that the courts are overscheduled. And so just wondering if, is there a way that we can figure out a way to kind of have an idea that the docket doesn't get too full? So that everybody can go through and get all the information they'd like to share, like two people, the reason why I say it's pretty close is because they both talked about somebody taking time off to come and talk with the judge. But pretty much they felt like their case was dismissed.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not in a position to discuss the case. We're well aware of the case. Let me pull my own thread back just for a second. The court is the judicial arm of the city. They are independent from the administrative, and they're independent of the policy or this board. The court is governed by the judge. He sets his schedule and works with his staff on how that operates in here. To that point, there is and was sufficient time at that time. And the judge managed the case appropriately based on the evidence that he had. And so with the judicial side, by state law, even by statute, we don't govern how they run the court. And it's a fair question, for sure. We've got the legislative branch, and that's you. We've got the judicial, and then you've got the executive branch, which would be city manager and our team. And those, though we work directly together, that's completely appropriate. Other than the responsibility that the city manager has to work with personnel in the court clerk environment, how that's executed on the back end in here is between the judge and his team, and how that court environment goes. So, yeah, does that help?
Yeah, that helps out completely.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Okay, great, thank you. Let me chime in a little bit on 300 West. Yeah, great project, appreciate everybody. I've told the Riverdale mayor, thank you for letting us use his little tiny skinny road there. Man, that was a garbage day, was a beast, wasn't it? But as far as I know, we got through it pretty good. A couple of things, the plates were removed today, the big metal plates. People hate driving over those, I don't know. And they were supposed to be removed last Thursday or Friday, and they didn't get removed, so I made a phone call Monday morning. Also, I'm a little upset today, they've cleaned up or they've removed some of the barricades and got rid of those, but when they got to kind of the SWIP stuff, the Stormwater Prevention Plan stuff, those big orange covers they put over the drains that the storm drain crap falls into.
Mhm.
They just kind of lifted them up and threw them in the truck, and they left all the crap around the drains. So I called Jake, and he's gonna call the company. I mean, they just defeated their purpose right there. You know, you got months worth of stuff, and they just
Right.
lifted it up, and they didn't even think about cleaning up the concrete, you know,
Yeah.
chunks and stuff up here that's eventually gonna go down there. So I was a little disappointed in that. That's the
Yeah.
only really disappointment that well, except whenever the wind blew, all the barricades blew over, and we weren't allowed to touch them because it's a state project, and it was kind of, I'm sure the sheriff touched a few of them just to make it safe. But it was like our guys were not really touch anything, so that was kind of a frustrating thing, but I'm glad it's over. Let's have a pie project and pie or something. Let's tell them we'll shut it down for one day next year, but we can all live with that. So.
Yep. Yep.
Okay,
And
good.
I'll also forward that SWIP onto Stormwater Management, who is Tanit.
Okay, yeah, that,
So I'd
that
just
just
like him to know as well.
makes sense to me. You
No,
know,
that makes no
it
sense.
just, we just picked it up and all around it was junk still. Like, it just, I don't know.
Mm.
Maybe I'm getting too picky in my old age. So, I don't know. Parking, this trailer parking has been a pain, but what happens is now up on 5700 South, every weekend you got the big semi trailer parks there. He thinks it's okay now to park there because you got trailers always parked on the other side. So now the big semi trailer parks there and he just lives in one of the townhomes right there. He just walks right there. That's great for him.
Yeah, he used to park it there before that road went through.
Right, right.
Put
Now
up
he,
a dead end.
now he parks there every weekend almost because, hey, I see commercial trailers there, so I'll park there. You know, so it just, you know, people see things and they think, oh, I guess that's okay. And it just grows. But yeah, semis are not. They're over 14,000 pounds.
Yeah,
And they're too
Broken
big,
window scenario, right?
too big. So, okay, thank you. Tom, I had some requests or some questions about getting Wi-Fi in our parks through Connext. Any,
Okay.
especially Romer Park, where
Okay.
there's a lot of people down there on weekends
Yeah,
doing a lot of streaming and stuff.
right.
Yeah.
Didn't we bring it up, didn't I bring it up like a while ago? About just one thing, I don't know where this is gonna go, but if we're gonna do it, please make sure we're doing it in all the parks, so people from all corner of the city can enjoy this
Yeah.
benefit.
Yeah, I know it was kind of a thing where they always said, you know, hey, if you do this with us, we can put Wi-Fi in all your parks for a price,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah,
but
right.
we could do that,
Right.
you know, and I just had
Yeah.
somebody asked me a question today and I said, well, I don't know, haven't heard about that.
Yeah.
Connext is all.
I think Tom gave like a really depressing answer to my inquiry last time.
Well,
You're not wrong.
well, now that Connext is in, I mean,
Okay, tables have turned.
I don't know. I think just follow up on that. I don't,
Oh, I can follow up on it. I don't even have to filter this one.
oh, you know,
Oh, yes, I know.
oh, okay.
Okay,
Well, in administration reports, will you fill us in?
No.
No. When's his review?
Not soon enough, apparently.
That's up to you.
Mayor,
that's all.
write it down.
Can I add to
Remember.
that?
That's all I got. Yeah, Jeff?
Just that comment about having that, I met with a company when we were at the conference.
Mhm.
With the League of Cities and Towns. And she sent me a follow-up email. They help design that type of stuff. Maybe it's worth a free consultation of what they could provide for us and help us if we could leverage their services, or I'm sure they'll have a fee if they do it for us, but
Sure. Sure.
so let me know if you want that. I can send it over.
Okay.
I'll just send him his card.
I'll send this over to you.
Send him his business card, Jeff.
Great.
All right, that's all I've got.
Okay.
Let's move on to administration reports. Tom?
Okay. Wi-Fi in the parks. So Connects is yes, throughout the city on all of the streets and roads. If we wanted to run Wi-Fi into all of the parks, then there's a fee to do that. Particularly you look at those parks like, well, Romer. Romer right now, we're working on limited bandwidth by using a point-to-point that is actually fed from City Hall. It goes from City Hall, Public Workshop, water tower, and down into Romer Park, and then pushes over to Little Romer, all wireless. And so with that bandwidth, that's what we use for our camera system. And it's specifically for the camera system. So that one, we currently have for that. If you wanted to budget to run network capacity with Connects, we could get some pricing on them and have that considered for the rest of the parks. It would be entirely up to all of you. We would just have to, pay to play. Right now, we've got some of the infrastructure in City Hall and have on the list to get the fiber run to City Hall so that we can get with Connects in City Hall and at the fire station so that we get a more stable platform for internet for those environments, for fire dispatch and for our internet uses down at that environment. So other than that, those are the two areas that we're bringing internet to. One other area we're looking at is to set up some camera surveillance at Lions Park, because we've had quite a bit of challenges over there with assaults, various vandalism, and lots of shenanigans with that Bowery in that location, and it's magnet for some of the high school kids that go over there and enjoy themselves in that environment. We've run into some challenges over there, but short of that, we don't have any plans for internet in the parks this time.
Okay.
I'd like
Jeff?
to ask that we can get an estimate, that we can at least
Right.
Sure.
get an idea of.
Because it looks like we have some existing cost for, because we're bringing it here, fire station, Romer Park. So we're gonna have some existing cost anyway, that we're gonna spend anyway. So it's not like we have to have it. Let's look at the pricing, the estimate.
Okay.
And maybe we can, like, if there's a way to like check the quality, because I have been to cities where they have free internet, but it's just awful. So what's the point?
Yeah.
So, yeah, why not? If they're gonna do, give us some estimates,
Okay.
let's look at it, and then I guess we'll talk
Sure.
about it, but I guess it's a good news. Before it was a straight up no, but now it's like, oh, we can talk about it. So,
Sure,
yeah.
sure, yeah. Yep.
Well, and the person who asked me will pay to play. He's willing to pay to play,
Yeah.
to get that service,
Roger that.
but so, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't even know how you would do that.
Right.
Benches down there too.
That's right. Need some benches. Okay.
The Lions Club
oh.
is working on benches. Okay, the Lions Club is working on benches.
Okay.
Oh, Jeff Woods.
So we're gonna do projects and pies. Got Romer Park should receive the slurry seal, which is different than chip seal. Slurry seal will work for that environment, and it's southern facing and it's very open. There's not a lot of large canopy trees down there to get in the way of that. And forgive me, I don't remember the exact day that they're gonna be slurry sealing down there.
Supposed to be doing the chain link fencing this week. Supposed to be doing the slurry seal and the striping next week.
Is that what it is? Okay, thank you.
That's the
Mayor.
last I heard.
You're finishing up this week and then the striping and story might be in 2 weeks. But, yeah,
Oh, okay.
I think it's good.
Well, it was a great day at the ball fields. I went down there and brand new parking lot with no striping on it. And I thought that was gonna be a mess, but baseball parents are fairly intelligent. From what I gathered, they were parked
Yeah.
in like
No.
the exact spot they should be.
Yeah,
It's like,
good.
it wasn't you know, just
Yeah.
I was expecting it everywhere, but
Kind of
these were,
muscle memory?
but these were teams that have played there time and time again, so it was
Good,
kind of cool.
good.
They all knew where to park. I was very
Good deal.
surprised.
So we don't need one.
We don't need lines.
Morning.
Yeah, so we'll save some money. Okay,
Okay, Everbridge, I sent you all out the email that I, forwarding that, the links for Everbridge. Got notified today from the county that Everbridge on the county system is now live. And that is the new mass notification system. We're gonna be doing a lot of work and to promote people getting on Everbridge and signing up for that notification system. They need people to sign up so that they can receive information. If they don't sign up, they don't get informed. And I'm gonna double check on unless there's a grid that says this is the area and every cell phone in that area gets informed. Otherwise, we can use Everbridge to get people to sign up, log in, and then select if they want information from Public Works, road closures, those kinds of things that are going on in the city, so that people can get hey, the water's gonna be off in this area, and we can punch those kind of messages through. One of the things you've noticed that we've talked about before is the notifications on Facebook, door hangers, emails, and others, where when there's a water shut off in an area, we'll let those people know, depending on the level of the emergency. If it's a big water break, we just go out and we take care of it, we get it done, we notice it, but we have to just shut the water off and get going on it. But we have various levels of emergency, including just scheduled maintenance. So the intent there is no less than 24 hours notification, and then we let people know that that's happening. And we can actually use Everbridge that we control just for our city, for people who notice that they're in Washington Terrace City, and then we can send notices out that way as well. So that's another little good news.
cost on that, Tom?
That's handled by the county and everybody.
Okay, because I see in here that it's like my subscription or alert subscriptions. That sounds like there's that thing,
No,
that email you sent, that sounds like there's.
We don't have a cost.
Okay, it sounds like we
You
have
don't,
to subscribe.
users do not have a cost. The
Okay.
county, all of the counties in this region, actually have a cost. And that's Weber, Davis, Cache,
Okay,
Box Elder, and I don't remember the other ones, but they're all part of that system.
okay, so you'll let us know when it's.
So if you go on, you use the QR code, we're gonna put the QR code on our Facebook page and just do some promotion. It just so happened that yesterday, we posted a notice to help people go to Be Ready Utah. And to log onto there to get some ideas of how they can work with their own family emergency plan. If you look at the size of our staff with 9,300 people and how many people will need help during an event, it is imperative that people are prepared, that they take the effort to get their house in order. Because we're limited on our response by roadways, water infrastructure, sewer infrastructure, and we're very limited on what we can do. But with that in mind, we're going to reach out to some of our faith-based organizations. There's actually some new training on linking in with faith-based organizations through FEMA. And we're going to try to link in with some of them and get them actively engaged again. We had it going pretty well. In fact, it was curious that we had a really good handshake relationship with some of our faith-based leadership in the community at the time of the tornado. And we were able to instantly get some link in with them and that natural distribution of information through this area. In this area, obviously, it's the prominent religion, but in other areas, there's other prominent religions that can get information out, and they're great resources for a lot of people to do a lot of good. And so we're looking at and tuning that up as well. Unless I'm missing something, I think we're pretty good. We're really close on distributing the survey, and our intent our intent, my intent is to get that, meaning us, to get that out by the end of the week. I'd like to see it land on Thursday. But I've got a couple more little tweaks it looks like I need to take care of on some verification, because right now we're asking people where they live. They indicate where they live, but we're not making them get the water bill like we did last year. I think we got a pretty clear message that, let's get the information, have people hopefully they'll just say, yeah, I am or am not a resident. And that's up to them.
Is we're emailing, that's the primary way of sending the survey, right?
We're doing email. We're going to also be doing Facebook, so that it gets out on there. It'll be on our webpage, and just letting
I
people
was just
know.
wondering, because sometimes when we do mass, that means if you're putting it in the Facebook, then anyone with the link can.
They can.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily like pure data.
No, it's a little looser. There are some verification components in the background. So if someone goes on and and we saw this on our last survey, they were using the same IP address and stacking to get their voice heard on some matter. But we were able to see the stacking. We took one of their responses and the rest were pulled.
Perfect.
So, I realize there's workarounds for everything. There isn't really anything in this survey that is earth shattering.
Right.
I think go through it and see if there's something we're missing, or if something that we could easily pull. You can tell by the length of the survey. We've pulled a lot of any of the redundancy, the things that we resolved, and some of those areas in that. So to take another look at it. Don't look at it right away, because I've got to go check and see on this verification if there's some protocols I need to clean up that we're limiting, Jill. But once you've moved forward, I got to check and see if there's a way to go back, or if once you've started, you're going forward. I don't know, Jill.
Okay.
So I'll check on that.
Do check, I went through the survey today and do check the comments section. Cause I know we wanted it brief, but I was trying to do very brief and it still would,
Okay.
not enough characters to have much there.
Good point. We have, right now we've got 40 characters. I'm willing, last time we had 250.
40's not enough.
I'm open for, and I've brought it up. I'm willing to do whatever you guys are comfortable with.
I'm thinking maybe like 60.
Okay.
I'd even do 80.
Well, I don't know.
I wouldn't
Cheryl,
go
do
lower than that.
100 on Cheryl.
On mine. I mean, I was in the middle of a word and I thought, okay, I typed 5 words in here. It's cutting
Okay,
me off. you
yeah.
know?
And it counts your space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All-
So no space.
I
No
thought, okay, I
spaces.
could take that
Do it
out.
like Twitter.
It's
If
those-
it's more than 120, they have to pay.
No, there you go.
It's those $10 words.
Yeah.
Cheap and
Scrabble words.
and button or.
Yeah.
Uh, I heard a bid of 80 and I heard a bid of 60.
I would not go more than 80. 60 might make it.
Go 80.
75, 75.
Go
75.
80. Go 80.
Going once, going twice. Sold at $80 to the lady in the blue shirt.
The first one.
We going to 80?
For 80 characters.
80.
Okay, I'll go 80. You got it. Okay, anything else on the survey? Are we messing up in that anywhere? Is it looking?
That seemed pretty
Looks
good.
good. Is it about the right length, Z?
We can work with that.
Okay,
Did you think it was too long?
I think all surveys are long.
Yeah.
But the way I feel the flow is much better this time than the
Yes.
last time.
Yes,
The
I
flow
agree.
of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. you
Okay,
can
So
zip-
that's why too many questions, but because of the flow,
Not as bad.
it feels better.
okay, good. That was, yes, great. Thanks for your feedback. And yes, that was intentional. We're like, okay, how does this feel on the next one? We did literally, what was it, Monday or Tuesday? I don't know what day, added the emergency preparedness question. just to get people thinking. We're not going to give them resources to go look at because I want to stay with the survey. But when they get done, they can go to our webpage and they can find some other resources. So, oh, when you completed the survey, did it take you to the webpage?
Yes,
Did it send you over there?
Think so.
Okay. Because
yes.
I know that when I take the survey in here and I've been working with it, I could pollute it by not knowing for sure if it thinks I'm the one creating it or the one taking it. So sometimes I'll take it on my phone to try to do a test run. And
Yes.
so it ends up a little bit wonky.
It did?
Mine did.
Yeah,
Did it? Okay.
I'm sure
Great.
every one of them did. I guess the last one did. Okay.
Thanks.
All
you
right.
guys. That's all I've got at my
Thanks,
side.
Tom. Item number 10, upcoming events, October 14th, city offices closed in observance of Indigenous Peoples, Columbus Day holiday. October 15th is our next city council meeting for right now at 6 p.m. October 24th is our next planning commission meeting, tentatively, possibly. Okay. Any other items? Seeing none.
Tom, I think there's somebody
What?
over here has.
Not on the
Like
agenda.
yours. It'll be shorter. Just to follow up on the situation with burning.
Burning Man?
We're really rebels
Burning
today.
porta potty.
Oh,
Burning down the house.
oh,
We have met with the perpetrators, the perps, and they are scheduled for full payment of restitution by Friday. If they do not pay on Friday, there is some significant consequences, but right now they have agreed to make full restitution. They will have some less than felony arson charge. Given their time in life, I don't think a felony larceny charge will help anyone in their life's journey.
Maybe for the second offense.
Maybe if it was a second offense, for sure, felony arson every day. But we've worked out with them. They have all committed to having this taken care of on Friday. If it's not taken care of on Friday, it will be hammer time.
And we are recouping all of our costs?
All cost, both the cost of the unit and the cost of cleanup.
Good, thank you.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep. So quick follow-up on that.
good.
Thanks, team.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. What? Where's my?
Oh, did you? Oh, I didn't even notice that. I thought it was really clean over there. Well, thanks, Tyler. I know something,
Screen right there.
I know, I know. They really